For those of you who watch my comic shop talk show on Friday night, I have been very deeply instrumental in my absolute love for Truth, Justice, American Way, which was written by Gabe Al-Taib. I know he did the colors as well. Akeon did the drawings. I love that comic book, and I was pretty damn disappointed when I found out that that was going to be it. I love the idea of the Big Man Comics imprint, and I like everything that the story had to present. It wasn't just one of those stories within the Indiegogo Kickstarter scene that was just like, oh yeah, the art is good, and you don't really hear people talk about like the story. No, the story was fucking great, and there was like a little bit of like a slightly social political. It wasn't really anything very deep on that, but it was definitely there, more underhanded, and it was really good. We had really great characters, really great, powerful life lessons as well. Very entertaining, very fast paced. I absolutely loved it. So, of course, once again, I was so bummed when I found out that there would not be a follow up. And then along came Dean Cain, All American Lawman. And I'm like, okay, what you got here? What you got here? Dean Cain, All American Lawman? Like, are you sure, man? Are you like, let's see what it is, but you know what? I can't believe I'm saying guys, but I didn't realize this is the other comic I have been fucking waiting for. And I'm not going to tell you the story here, but I will tell you everything without telling you anything.
As I suspected, 32 flavors.
With Dean Cain, All American Lawman, you have a very nice, straightforward story that doesn't try to come off like some pretentious Zack Snyder flick that acts like it's smarter than it actually looks. And this one, it's a bit more of a straightforward story that kind of takes you a little bit on cruise control. So you go for a little bit of a drive, and it's nice, and it constantly goes, and goes. And you have a protagonist that's fun, funny, and comes equipped with word delivery that would make Pierce Brosnan's voice oozing in jealousy, and he'd be like, "Ooh man, that Dean Cain, All-American Lawman guy, he's got some quips there with what he says." Yes, it's a terrible fucking accent, but you get the damn point, right?
Drop dead.
And all pizzazz aside, at the core of our lead is a character who's rooted in traditional American values, and for every life advice he offers, he has equally as much initiative in the action that he takes. The pacing is as fast as it is absolutely perfect, as not a single moment in this comic book feels too short nor overdrawn. Nothing feels wasted, and I can see why this comic book was extended from 80 pages to over 100, because I can't see one page being taken out of this book, not one damn fucking panel on top of that. This comic book was meant to be over 100 pages, and I can't imagine this comic book having a shorter stay. The villains are menacing, vicious, and they don't play by the same rulebook as our heroes do. This is kind of what it's like to be like, hey, how to write a villain, how to act like a villain. Class and Villainship 101. And the dialogue goes from like a confident James Bond-like delivery to an on-the-nose brashness that brings to mind the glory days of like Commando and Action Jackson. All the good old 80s, 90s action movie classics, if you will. And Akeon's art reminds me of a time when comics were just flourishing in liveliness, and Gabe's colors add a nice touch at bringing to my comics when they look like they are from a much better place, rather than the 300th attempt at fucking Watchmen ripoffs. And if you're one of those eagle-eye viewers who has like a very magnifying glass on things, well, guess what? I got news for you, dude. You got tons of little nods, ends, Easter eggs that are designed for you, especially if you're someone who's well-versed in like Gabe Al-Taib's career, who he hangs around with, and I don't even think I've caught all things, which is cool. So it's just like, oh, okay, I think there's something like a bit of a nod to that, or the things that he's into. So for example, you get some nods like Rambo, obviously quotes like from Predator, and then there's even like a thing, like some dialogue that's being said, and it's kind of like an indirect reference to his co-host on Double Impact, Jericho Green, and I absolutely mean it when I say I don't have any major gripes, but one small nitpick. Now, I can't say what that nitpick is. It's not because I'm not trying to like not say anything bad. It's because this is very spoiler free and I don't want to give away anything. And when I actually have that discussion, I'll say what my nitpick is when it's like a spoiler filled show. We can talk about this comic book and I'll talk about my nitpick then. But really, other than that though, I really enjoyed the fucking hell out of this comic. And to add to the bloody cherry on top, this comic book will make you feel good. Like, that's a big one right here. It's a story that I want to share with my friends, my family, my peers on YouTube, my friends in the Chicago area. It's a type of comic that I'm just like, yeah! It's one of those fucking comics. It's just one of those comics, man. So, you've seen my shares of 7 and 8s, and quite a bit of the 8s. But Dean Cain All-American Lawman, woo! He gets a 9.1. Woo! It doesn't matter if you're in the mainstream comic books, Big 2, outside of Big 2, Iron Age, Comicsgate, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, whatever company, whatever publisher, whatever distributor, whatever subsidiary, whatever fashion, it doesn't matter. I'm just here to say, guys, that the bar has been damn raised. If you aren't supporting this comic book, well, then you may as well have your ass handed to you like the many guys that did in Roadhouse.
They killed the giggler, man. They killed the giggler!